Thank you much. I'm still sitting with everything that we experienced over the last 10 days, but I know my heart is definitely full. Oftentimes, I think it's lost on Houstonians how global our city really is, because we are focused on our sidewalk or the tree or delayed recycling, right? But on a national scale, Houston is a leader. Houston can model what those sub-national politics and then influence can be. And I think from just the experience in Abidjan and Cote d'Ivoire, what they're requesting, we are in the very best position to model to the globe on how we partner with the continent, particularly oil and gas, construction, the infrastructure, housing, detention when we were in Abobo. And there are particular lots where they have 400 births a day in Abobo. They are in need of 150,000 units of housing today. Right? And so they're looking for prefabricated housing immediately. Like there are things that we are modeling and that we take for granted in this city that could transform how they live. So we are in the very best position to do that. And it was really humbling to be reminded that this is one of the greatest American cities. And we are really in a fortunate position. And as the vice mayor mentioned, talk about a stellar delegation. I think there was one group that was the most stellar, which was your Office of International Trade, led by Director Chris Olson, Jessica, Mazda, Jose. Exceptional to manage that type of agenda to get us there to, secure those meetings. And then all the additional meetings. There were people, once they heard we were there, we had additional meetings that were never even on the agenda because they were just so excited to get in front of us. And so I wish this would have happened in 2020. I think we would see at this point magic over the last 3 years. And so that's the only thing that's kind of sad. But when I tell you, I don't want to hear another complaint about a speed bump, okay? I don't want to hear another complaint. Those speed bumps are high and they are bumpy. We got it good. We got it good. I don't want to hear another one. But open drainage system. And I think one of the things that was really remarkable to me that when we sat in front of the mayor of Accra and her team, how we do our budget hearings, they're doing it the same way. The planning director, when they're talking about engaging with community, we do it the same way. And so it just, again, cemented why this trip was so important. So thank you for that opportunity, and also to your security detail and everyone that fully participated and didn't miss out on a moment. It was exceptional. I also want to bring attention to another constituent issue that's happening. I know I brought this to you a couple of weeks ago, 9669 Richmond. That home has been inspected. It's in the Tanglewood community. And there are no deed restrictions. The deed restrictions do not restrict a lodging facility, and they have been in conversation with ARA, and they've been following the protocols. So I just want to, encourage the residents that there is you can apply for the parking ordinance to limit parking on your yard for 20 years. That is what's available to you. I want to go ahead and encourage you and remind you to do that. That was in the newsletter as an offering, because you may be upset about this one home, but a private owner can do that to their home if they're following the city ordinance. And I think that's all something, sometimes there's a rub between that. Right. And I know our office has been TPIA'd regarding the process of that over a year. And so it's still there. At the end of the day, the deed restrictions have to restrict it. And there's no ordinance against it. So I just want to put that out publicly and encourage you to get that application in so you can restrict parking on your yards for 20 years. And then lastly, just to shout out the American with Disabilities Act. Thanks for the presentation this morning, but I just want to highlight Susan Nguyen. She had a workshop at the Alief Neighborhood Center on July 15th. Talking about her story. She was involved in a traumatic car accident and experienced the loss of her dominant arm. Although she's resilient and had support around her, she's emerged as a thought leader, a TEDx speaker, a happiness coach, an author and instructor. And I just wanted to acknowledge her for her work. She has promised herself to be bitter and not better. And I just want to thank her for being who she is and contributing to the conversation, and particularly on the Americans Disability Act Day. Thank you much.
Thank you. Councilman McCammon.
Yeah. Mayor, really quickly, because I saw some of the comments on social